I thought we were going to wear our speed suits.
You know what they say? Dress for the job you want.
Dress for the job you want.
That's cool and all, but I don't think being a giant fire-breathing lizard is really a job.
It should be. Hi, I'm Johnny Havoc.
And I'm Newt.
By now, you guys should know we're Simple Tricks and Nonsense.
And welcome to our PowerCon 2022 wrap-up video.
We did it! We're making a video about a convention and 6 months hasn't passed.
I know we are pretty slow about that sometimes.
And here's the thing. Either we make costumes and props, or we make videos. But since our videos are about costumes and props, we kind of have to prioritize those first.
Exactly. PowerCon was a little different this year, this being the first year that it was no longer solely Masters of the Universe related. Instead, it has expanded to toys, toy companies, toy artists, toy designers. And I know that some people were upset by this change, but I have a feeling that Masters will always be a part of PowerCon's DNA.
If you've seen some of our videos called The Road to PowerCon, then you've seen some of the costumes that we were working on to get ready for the convention.
Yeah, we had Tila, Merman, Baroness, and the Cobra Trooper. Though we had some costumes that we didn't have time to make.
Still, we had 3 sets of costumes, so that was 1 set per day. So I guess we should just start at the beginning.
PowerCon's typically a 2-day convention, but now it has expanded to Fridays. So Friday, I got to wear a costume that I made a few years ago, but I didn't get to wear out until now, and that would be my Princess Adora costume. I know you may have seen me wear it in some videos, but I've never worn it to a con before.
So since you're all suited up already, tell everybody how you made the costume.
Well, there's not much to it. It was pretty easy. This white part I bought. It was just a leotard.
Okay.
And the main red, I just made my own pattern and I sewed it together. It's a very simple pattern.
And it's a pleather or
It's a red leather.
faux leather?
Yeah, faux leather.
And then
But it looks really realistic. It has that texture.
Yeah, the bracers, what's inside them?
So the bracers, this leather that I got is really thin. And I wanted the same leather on here, so it's just EVA foam covered with the red leather, so that it looks thicker. And then I cast these jewels for it. I redesigned the bracers a little bit just to give them a little bit more depth and dimension without taking away from the overall look of Adora.
Nice. In the 2 weeks before the convention, we made Warduke. And that was both the last minute cosplay, and it was something that I thought I'd never get around to doing.
You could tell that Warduke was a lot of people's favorite character from D&D. I mean, you had grown men going nuts seeing Warduke in real life.
And all the little girls loved Adora.
Yeah, they did.
Both little girls and grown men.
So anyway, tell us how Warduke was put together.
Let's start with the top of Warduke. Starting with his helmet, that's just EVA foam. The little bat wings and all that stuff, everything is just EVA foam, and it was cut, heat bent, glued together. There's a million tutorials online. As we move down, the muscle suit is, I'm probably touching the mic. The muscle suit is a muscle suit that we made a long time ago, and that goes underneath. And then the muscles that you're seeing on the outside, that was a muscle suit that was bought from China, but we cut all the crappy muscles out of it because it looked like crap. And then the shoulder piece is EVA foam, you have leather strapping, the belt is EVA foam, the skull or the demon skull in the center of the belt, that's actually one of those styrofoam Halloween skulls that was like, had its face sheared off and then glued on. Moving on down, you have fur, that's just some faux fur. The boots are some pirate boots that had more EVA foam placed around them, and then some jewels which she cast for the other boot. The gauntlet is the other half of my Victor Saltspire gauntlet set. Victor's got the right arm, and then Warduke needed the left arm.
I loved how that worked out so perfectly.
It's like I didn't have to buy extra stuff.
Should we also tell people how the professional way we made the bodysuit, the muscle suit?
The professional way?
The professional way, where we just pulled up pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We did.
And just like, oh, there's a muscle there. There's a muscle there.
So, yes, when we made our muscle suit that I keep using for Hordak and for Merman and for Warduke and whatnot, what we did was we found some images of Arnold Schwarzenegger from when he was Mr. Universe, where you could really see his muscles. And we put a morph suit or a Zentai suit or a full body leotard, whatever you want to call it. Put that on a plastic mannequin. And then we sat there and we traced out where we wanted each muscle to be, and we just labeled them. We're like, okay, this is muscle number 1, and then corresponding muscle number 1 would be mirrored on this side, and then 2, 2, 3, 3, back and forth. And then once we had those paper templates, we then traced that out onto our foam, and we used, I think, 2-inch thick foam.
Yes, it was at least 2 inches.
And then, and then we cut out the foam. And we sat there with scissors and like gently snipped the edges and rounded it and sculpted it. And then we took it a step further and we used a bench sander and like actually sanded and rounded all those off. And then once we had all our muscles and we knew where they were going to go, we sat there with contact cement and we glued them all together. Now the funny thing about that is we did that and we stored it inside, and we stored it in our guest room, which is downstairs. And the contact cement smell so strong that it permeated the whole house, and for about 2 days you could just smell contact cement
Yeah,
through
we
the
just
entire
lived
building.
with the windows open for a couple days. So always leave it outside for a few days before bringing it in.
And then the next fun discovery was, and you can imagine this, is that the contact cement, yes, it glued the foam down to the suit, but it also penetrated the fabric of the suit a little bit.
Yeah.
So we had to peel it off the plastic mannequin, but that's exactly why we used a plastic mannequin.
On Saturday, we wore our Tila and our Merman, and I'm not sure which one stole the show more, your Warduke or your Merman.
Hopefully, if you're watching this, you've already seen our videos of us putting together Tila and Merman. But I don't think we were completely finished with those costumes when the last video came out. So here are some behind-the-scenes clips and images of Tila and Merman.
Don't mind the noisy birds outside, but we're putting together my Tila shield. So this is the $5 pizza pan that I got. We added some pieces of plastic to it for the raised portions, and right now we are adding some clavises, different kinds, for embellishments, and more detail. I started on her little chain link belt. I found this chain at Michael's for $1. I liked the shape of it and it's already the right color. And these parts are just little resin parts that we molded from a medallion that we had. I like the shape of it, and when painted up it just looks like metal. We added these little eyelets in there so that I can chain link it. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm meticulously taking this apart and chain linking them together with this. And that's what I will be doing for the next couple hours. It should look pretty badass when I'm done. And got Rawhead Rex playing in the back, keep me entertained. And a kitty for company. Tila was a major bucket list costume for me, and it was so fun to finally wear that costume.
Well, merman wasn't fun to wear, but it was great seeing people's reactions while wearing it.
There was a little boy who was obsessed with your merman, and he came by our table probably 5 times. There are some kids who are fascinated by creatures, even if other kids find them really scary.
Yeah. Most of the little girls, they wanted to pose with you. They wanted to be with Tila. But only a small portion of the kids actually wanted to pose with Merman.
Probably because he's a bad guy and a scary fish man. But that little boy was fascinated by you, and it was so adorable to see. Like, you can see it just leaving an impression on him, and that was precious.
Well, Sunday rolled around, and we wore our most comfortable costumes after 2 days of me sweating to death. We got to wear something that was almost like normal clothes. She wore Baroness, and I wore Cobra Trooper.
You'll notice a theme with the costumes we brought. It's a toy show, so having costumes based on toys, specifically 80s toys for me and him, seemed like a wise idea.
And if you watched the Road to PowerCon episode 1, that's when we were working on the Baroness costume. And that's something that we made especially for PowerCon. Since I already had the Cobra Trooper, it just made sense that she would be the Baroness.
Baroness was a chance for me to be a villain for once, and it's something I think I want to do more often.
So what were your impressions of PowerCon 2022?
Again, PowerCon was super organized and thought out, so navigating where to go and what was happening had zero confusion.
And our table setup, our convention neighbors were terrific.
Yes, they
because
were.
we shared space with our fellow cosplayers, and in our position, from our perspective, diagonally behind us was Sav Marie, who's a local from Ohio, but she's a ton of fun to be around.
Yes, she is.
And then next to her, but directly behind us, the man behind the curtain, he's the pillar of PowerCon, Johnny Bilson was there. So we had all the cosplay people right there in one little area.
And directly across from us, we had the Titans of Toys. So we had Pixel Dan and Dan Larson from Toy Galaxy. We met Pixel Dan last year at PowerCon, but this was our first time meeting Dan Larson.
So to our immediate right was Shardamus Prime, who's a YouTuber, toy collector, reviewer. And then to our left was Tim Clark, who's puppeteer, toy designer, artist.
Joe, you need to come to PowerCon. What's man? Come on, get over here. Bring your stuff. Hurry up.
So that was our little block.
We couldn't have asked for better booth
buddies.
neighbors, booth buddies. Yeah, everybody was so great, and it just makes me look forward to next year so much.
To say that we felt a little out of our league would have been an understatement.
But right off the bat, from day one, I knew the convention was going to be fun because the first person to approach us for a picture was only freaking Ruby O'Burrow himself. In fact, each day he got a picture with us in our different costumes, and it was just such an honor to meet him, let alone like having him ask for a picture of us. That was something I will never forget.
We stayed pretty busy posing for photos, but the best is when you're asked these questions about your costumes and how things are made.
Yeah, the days flew by pretty fast. I guess it always does when you're having fun. Friday seemed like a short day. It was started in the afternoon and then it ended at 8 p.m.
And Saturday started even earlier, but even earlier for us because it takes a good bit of time to get ready. By 4:30, it was time for the cosplay guests to go judge the costume contest. And Pixel Dan, who hosts the costume contest, he puts so much effort in making sure it runs smoothly, and we really appreciate all his efforts.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Pixel Dan. Sunday was another early morning for us, but a shorter day. We would take turns watching the booth so that the other one could circle the floor and treasure hunt.
I liked walking around and seeing the various offerings from the different toy companies that were there. It was a lot of fun to see things, firsthand instead of just digital renders and whatnot. But I mean, it was also kind of hard seeing all the toys that you can't afford. We did take our Tila and our Merman and go to the Tweeterhead booth that was there and show off those costumes because we based those costumes off of the statues that they made, and we got the thumbs up or the seal of approval. A lot of questions came in the day that I wore Merman because so many people were impressed with the actual skin of Merman, which was just a spandex suit. And I lucked out. There's a shop on Etsy that I use for my Hordak suit, and I told the lady who operates, I said, hey, this is the costume I'm working on, and you already have a costume that's really similar to it, but this is what I'm working on. So she actually tweaked her design and made it look even more like the Tweederhead statue. So my merman suit came from this shop called Shapeshifters, which is on Etsy.
PowerCon just has such a great attitude. Everybody just seems happy to be there and to be surrounded by all this stuff. And I genuinely enjoyed meeting everybody and talking to everybody.
It's such a great convention if you're a casual toy collector or if you're a lifelong toy collector.
And I've said it before and I will say it again, that PowerCon is my favorite con that I have ever attended. As a guest, I've never experienced such a well-organized or professionally run con. So thank you, Val, and everybody behind PowerCon, because you all know what you're doing.
Anyway, guys, we'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching.